Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing my makeup using random products that I've never used before, showing you guys the new techniques that I now do or implemented in my tutorials since I've last been on YouTube. I know every time I come on here I'm apologizing, but now I've got a new camera which I'm really excited to use and I shouldn't have anything holding me back from posting consistently. And I know my words might not mean much, but hey, we are going to start the tutorial. I'm thinking of maybe something red. I'm not sure, but I think it'll be fun. It's a bit Christmassy actually. I just want to skip to Christmas anyways. That's my favorite season. And also I apologize about my lisp. I have currently got Invisalign retainers. If you want me to do a YouTube video about that, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, just apologizing if some words sound a bit slurred or I sound a little bit I'm gonna start my makeup. First thing I'm going to do is start with my eyebrows, as I always do. Okay, I've got two sets of brushes now, so I'm going to have to keep on alternating because I got new ones because some of them cracked. So the first thing I'm going to do is brush through my eyebrows. As I do, I've got an eyebrow tutorial, but I'm going to kind of show you how I do it now. This is quite old now, but this is from Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the double-ended brush, and I'm going to use the dip brow. I'm going to be using the dip brow in Ebony. Had it for quite a while now, but it works just as great. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line the tail. I'm not going to draw the whole shape. I'm not going to fill it in like that at all. I'm just going to draw the tail and maybe fill in a couple of gaps. To get the brush nice and thin, what I do is I just press it against the lid with the product on it, and that's what gets me that nice thin angle for the, you know what I mean, to draw. Okay, so you see how I've done a very thin line against the toe? Oh, and I'm going to connect it back in to the rest of the brow because I've got a little gap. Okay, so I'm happy with that, and what I'm going to do is brush it down to like roughly the shape I would want it at. Get a bit more product and do the same with the top. And then I'm going to brush through. See, there's a little gap at the end, so that's where I'm going to fill it in. Just an angle. And a little bit here. Bit of a gap there. I can always add it in afterwards. You just want the shape. Here's my filled in brows. To conceal, I'm always going to use Too Faced concealer. That's just the concealer that I use. I'm going to be using Too Faced to conceal. The majority will be butterscotch. The colour butterscotch, which I'm running out of. Oh no. Sorry, I've got lip samples on my hand. And I'm going to put a little bit of sand because it is a little bit dull and I don't really want it dull. Just a little bit. Nothing, see, nothing crazy. Barely. You can barely see how much there is. Using M224 by Morphe, I'm going to mix it together. The easiest way to conceal brows, in my opinion, is to do a rough line like this. Just do a rough line and then get closer slowly. I'm gonna go closer. And then now I'm fairly close, but still far away. I'm gonna do gentle, small strokes to conceal. Okay, so I messed up my eyebrows and I'm going to wipe these off and start again. I was thinking, yeah, we're gonna go with the thin brows, and then I start getting into the hairs, and now it's just all shambles. So I'm gonna start again. I will be back with my eyebrows done. I'm back with some respectable eyebrows. My respectable. Off camera, I used Anastasia Brow Freeze. It works just the same as soap brows, but I think it's a lot less messier. I've been using that ever since I bought it, so a few months now, even on my clients as well. So I'm just gonna conceal the rest of my lid. give myself a little superhero eye look. And now we've got some superhero eyes, we're going to blend that in. Using Morphe J08, I'm going to blend in the lid. I'm also going to blend around my eyes. Using the JH07 brush and Laura Mercier, I'm going to set my lid. Because it's a colour like red, I don't really feel the need to leave it all wet. If it was a paler colour, then I would. Well, if I was using a paler colour, I'd probably use a lighter base for my lid, but today I don't think I need to do that. So yeah, I'm just setting lightly with Laura Mercier. Not a lot, because I do want it to be a little bit tacky. And I'm going to focus on towards the brow, so it doesn't crease or get oily or anything. I don't really have oily skin. It means that if I touch my face or something brushes past, my whole eyebrow concealer isn't going to disappear with it. So you want to set it until it's not shiny anymore. Key. But then you don't want to blend too close to the brow to a point where it actually starts mixing in with the eyebrow, because then it's not going to be that sharp line that you want. You can do that at the front and blend it in, but I do this last. Otherwise I find my eyebrows don't look defined anymore. More or less matte, as you can hopefully see. I think the palettes of the day are going to be the Jacyln palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. This palette, it's got a sparkly red that I want to use. Oh, it's called Wigglies. Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. We've got this man-eater shade here. I'm going to use the henna shade as a transition shade. For transition shades, you want a nice fluffy brush. You don't want something too dense. You want it nice and fluffy. See this brush, JH30, is fluffy, it's big. This is great for a transition shade. So I'm going in with henna, and I'm going to put it just slightly above the crease, but kind of aiming for the crease at the same time. Nothing too crazy, but I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'm kind of going to pat towards the eyebrow to kind of spread it up a little bit. I don't want it too close to the brow. Because of the type of colour as well, I can actually put it around my nose as a light contour, because it's quite a warm colour. And then just work it back into the eyes. But that actually adds to the contour process. It's quite light, a little bit messy actually, so I'm gonna add a little bit more just to make the shape a bit more uniform. There we go. And now it's got some nice depth to it and a nice round shape. I'm not going to do it completely round, it's going to kind of go out a little bit, but it's still fairly round. Doing the same with the other eye. And we are done with the first shade. I would always leave the brush to a side just in case I'm going to use it. Well, not just in case, I definitely will be using it. I'm going to go into Man Eater. It's in the same palette. It's this red shade. This brush is a bit more denser. It is JH35. I'm pretty sure there's like two of the same brush, like more or less the same brush. I'm going to go all over my lid. All over the lid. It's weird because I've never done a red shadow look. The reason why I'm using this brush instead of a flat brush first is because I want it to blend in with the transition colour a bit better before I start packing on the colour. As I'm not going to use many different colours, it's just going to be this one, but then I need to add that dimension by diffusing it properly. It's looking a bit pinky actually, and I want it to be a bit more reddy, so I might get a liquid lipstick in a second. I think it looks a little bit pinky and I want it to look red, like really red. So now I'm actually blending it up into the crease. I definitely decided I'm going to use a red lipstick. It's not as red as I want it. I really want it to be a very bold red, a red, not a dark red, a wine colour. I want it to be red. So I'm going to go in with a lipstick. I found a lip paint. This is from Mellow Cosmetics. A lip paint is going to dry quite quick, so we got to move quick. I'm going to use a flat brush. This is JH41, and just dab it on the brush, and then quickly, moving quickly, I'm going to press it onto the lid. I'm going to press it into the center and then I'll blend it outwards afterwards. As you can see, it's much more red. Now I'm going to go in with the fluffy brush that I was blending Man-Eater with and blend it into the rest. I'm going to go into this a few times to get it very red because it's looking a bit pink. I don't want it to look pink. I'm going to go into it a few times. Okay, so I think this is as red as it's kind of going to get. It does look a little bit pinkish, but unfortunately it's just, that's as red as I can get it with these shades. I go back in with that transition shade and just blend around a bit. I'm going to go with a brush that's still quite fluffy, but it's fairly little. I'm going to go in with Credit on the Jacyln palette, and I'm going to go on the outside of my eye. And then I'm going to work it into the crease, but then keep it on the outside again. It looks very pink. Kind of getting irritated by it now. The best part about using a liquid lipstick is that colours stick to it much easier. A bit makeshift, a bit messy, but we can fix that by going back in with the red brush and blending that out all over. It's looking really pink, isn't it? No, I want a redder shade. I'll be back. I hate to go in with a third palette, but I'm gonna use my Morphe 35B palette, which is a great palette for colours because it has so many good colours and it comes out really nicely. It's got a bright red, almost orangey colour. I'm hoping that's going to really brighten this up. Okay, so it's brightening it up a little bit. I think to an extent, once you start blending, it is kind of just like pink. We're going to leave it at that. The fluffy that had the brown on it, I'm just gonna blend it outwards, like in a shape, sort of a wing shape almost. I'm gonna scoop it underneath as well. This is a flat brush that came with an Urban Decay palette, and I'm gonna go in with the Wiggly shade, and I'm going to almost cut my crease with it, but I'm not gonna use concealer. I'm just gonna put it on top. Hopefully you can see. See, this is a red shade. The fact that this is almost more purple / pink is gonna give it more dimension to the whole eye look. So I'm not too mad anymore. Not too mad. So this looks very different, doesn't it? I don't think I've ever seen a look like this before, like on anyone else. I'm really liking this Wiggly shade. It's really nice. Using the brush that I blended out the Man-Eater and all of the reds, I'm gonna diffuse the edges. I don't really want a harsh cut crease for this look, otherwise I would use concealer. Should I have liner with this look? Yeah, of course I need liner. Before I do the glitter, I'm gonna do the liner. I use dip liner ink. I'm gonna just do a regular wing, nothing special. The shape I'm kind of going with today. So I'm gonna try and match the other eye to it. Okay, so I've matched the eyeliner. I'm gonna fix the tail when I do my concealer and the rest of my base. And I've also added waterline pencil. The pencil I used for my waterline is the Kiko Milano Intense Color Long Lasting Eyeliner. Nice and dark. So now I've done the liner, I can add into the glitter because I don't have to worry about, you know, gliding over the glitter and the liner not being straight because over sequin, you know, the little specks of glitter. For the glitter, the palette I'm going to be using is the Minachi Cosmetics palette. And there's a red color called Flash. This is a great glitter palette as well because it means you don't have to go out and buy lots of separate glitters for like, well, in the UK they're about £7-8 each. I'm sure this whole palette was about £30. So, and the convenience of just being able to have it in a palette. I need to apply a glitter primer. I will be using the NYX glitter primer and I'm going to apply it with the same brush that I'm going to put the glue on with. I'll use one side for the primer, one side for the glitter. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on the brush. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, okay, it all came out in a bit of one, but I'm just gonna kind of distribute it evenly. And I'm not gonna put it too high up as well. It's gonna be like towards the bottom of my lid. To go in with that glitter color Flash and put it sparingly. I don't want to pack it on, I just want to add a little bit. I don't want too much sparkle, but yeah, we've got some sparkle going on. Really like it actually. Now I've got glitter on the lids. I'm gonna just check there's no significant gaps in between. But I am happy with that, to be honest. I can apply my lashes, which I am going to do off camera. I will be back. Okay, so these lashes are quite thick, but I do really like them. And when I do the rest of my makeup, it's not going to look too crazy. These are Tatti Lashes TL6. Now let's do the base. I'm going to moisturize my face because I haven't moisturized it since morning and it's like 10 o'clock at night now. So I'm going to get a little bit of the, I can't pronounce it, Embryolisse cream. Embryolisse. It's a really good cream. Just gonna get a little bit. Moisturize it. Oh gosh, I can feel the spot coming up. Very annoying, very annoying. To prime, I'm going to use Too Faced Hangover Primer. Oh gosh, I've got a massive spot coming underneath. I wonder if you can see it. It really hurts every time I rub over it. Primed. I always let the primer sit for a couple seconds before I start applying the foundation. I'm gonna carve out my eyebrows and that's gonna give the rest of it time to settle. I think my current favorite is probably the Pat McGrath foundation and it's in the shade 22 medium D. I've been alternating a lot, like I tried the Kat Von D, I've used Too Faced the other day, but I think this is the most prevalent foundation I've been using recently. I'm gonna just square it on my hand. I'm going to get the Morphe M421 brush. It's just a flat, small brush. I'm gonna carve out my brows. This foundation is light to medium, I would say, in terms of first application. Well, I'd say it's medium, but you can actually build the coverage, which I really like about that. Ooh. Wow. I should have put another spot here. I think it was a mosquito bite and I tried to squeeze it and it's just got worse. And then the rest that's on my hand, that's about to drip off, I'm gonna apply to the forehead because I don't want it to dry like by itself, if that makes sense. This camera keeps on cutting out, so I do apologize if some things are missed. I can't really help it, but I'm gonna see if it's a problem that I can resolve. I really get inside of my mouth, oh my god. Got so many spots underneath my skin right now, which is really annoying because my skin was just looking smooth. Okay, I'm going to blend. Leaving my under eye area. That's one layer. What I do is, the rest that's on my hand, I just go over the areas that I feel like need more foundation, which is usually my moustache area. And anywhere where there's any marks. I don't really have too many marks on my skin right now, but I've got spots coming underneath and they're quite red. Like you see here, that's when I might want to put a bit more foundation on. But you don't want to put too much because when you start putting a lot of foundation on marks, it actually draws attention to it. I'm going to blend it into my chin. Using that M224 brush, I'm going to apply some concealer. I'm going to use sand, the majority of sand. I'm going to mix it with butterscotch. Apply it to my forehead, under eye. I'm going to clean up my wing with it. So how I'd like to do it is use the fine end. There we go. With the remaining, I'm going to put a little bit on my chin and then my moustache area. Oh, and my nose bridge. I blend out all of the concealer with a brush, except for actually my nose bridge. Sometimes I use a blender. I'm going to blend that first. And I'm going to, using dabbing to blend and sort of wiping / swiping motions to move, I'm going to blend the other concealer parts. Just dabbing it, combining it into the foundation. You don't really need to do it in an order, but if you're someone who moves quite slow, blend out the areas with less concealer first, because the areas with less concealer, they're going to dry first and it's going to be harder to blend. But the trick to getting a good coverage on your concealer is to let it dry for a little bit. So sometimes, like if I apply it quickly, like when I'm doing my makeup without filming, I'll just apply the contour around it to allow it to dry for a second. When you've got the brief shape, what I would do is go over with the foundation brush. Hopefully there's not too much product on it, and go around the edges to blend it together. See how I'm kind of just merging it together. Over the moustache area, I actually just go over it sometimes, and a little bit with the chin, because I don't want it to be too bright. It's the under eye that I don't really want to tackle with too much. So I'm just going to go around the edges. Okay, so that's the initial blend. What I'm going to do is start contouring. Because I don't want my contour to be too heavy, I'm going to apply the contour straight onto a brush, except for the nose. Applying a little bit to the tip, a little bit to the sides. It will stretch. Apply straight with the brush. And apply it onto the areas that need contour. I'm just going to blend that into the shape that I want first. So joining everything together. Blending my jaw back out. I'm going to get a little bit more because I want to contour my chin. Kind of going over my lip. And now the basic idea of it's there. I'm going to blend the tip of my nose because I don't need a thin brush for it. Kind of going around the like ball of my nose, like the tip of my nose, I guess. Using the Snatched Edges brush or JH10, I'm going to bring the line that I've drawn up and down to get the shape of it, curving it up into my eyebrow. And I'm gonna blend the sides. Just gonna draw that back with, blend the sides carefully so it doesn't mess up your eye makeup. I'm gonna cut off a bit. I'm going to blend over everything with a sponge. Now we've got the basic outline of the contour, the concealer and my nose. I need to sharp out the sides to make it thinner. The way to do this is to just get the same concealer brush and draw a line. It makes a massive difference. And I'm going to blend out the sides of my nose again. I'm going to brighten up my face a little bit. I'm going to go in with sand by itself, which is quite bright, and apply in the inner corners. I'm going to brighten up my makeup so it looks more dramatic, because it's quite soft. Well, it will end up quite soft if I just kept it like this. Now I'm going over where the contour and the concealer meet, except for obviously that eye area, well, right where I put the concealer. Gonna do the nose a bit, just kind of blending that all out. And I like to go over a sponge with a beauty blender as well, not just any sponge, a beauty blender, but yeah. Where the tip of my nose is, I'm gonna elongate it a little bit to make it look more natural by just brushing the tip. Now I can blend out the concealer under my eye. See how it's just opening up my eye a lot more. And then you can kind of spread it around other points of your face, but focusing it under your eyes. So now I've blended out the brighter colour. I'm gonna go over the edges with a beauty blender again. I use a dry beauty blender. I know a lot of people like to use a wet, but I've never been a fan. I'm gonna quickly go over with the foundation brush again where the two meet. And now I can set my under eye. The brush I'm using is the JH07 again. I'm going to use the Laura Mercier powder. It's translucent, but it's got a little bit of a brightness to it. So it will brighten up your under eye, which is good for what I want. I'm just going to press it in. To avoid creasing, the key is to make sure you're going in different directions. So you're going back in that direction of the crease to really set it in place. So it's set in all angles. The under eye is the first place you should set because it's going to crease. Now I'm just setting those other areas that had concealer. You don't need to, oh god, that was a big chunk that went in my eye. You don't need to full on bake, but I do put powder on all the areas with concealer. Well, most of my forehead, but everywhere else that has concealer, every part gets powder. I'm gonna bake the sides of my nose. This is gonna sharpen that nose contour. I use a fair amount for this because I feel like if you don't, it's not gonna sharpen it out the same way. This part is full on baking. See how it has kind of brightened up my face? Yeah, that's because it's not quite transparent. But speaking of transparent powders, I've heard really good things about the RCMA makeup, the original no color powder. You're supposed to be able to set everything including your foundation and it's not going to give you flashback. We're going to test that out today. Oh god, it's got one of these sticky things and I've got long nails. Oh, there's a little tab. I'm using a different brush to set just because I don't want to mess up the one with it. But yeah, it's completely white, so I'm a bit scared. But I'm going to set the rest of my foundation with it. Ooh, to be fair, it is disappearing. Fair enough, fair enough. Set my mouth area with it. To set the contour, you just use a bronzer. I'm using the Revolution bronzer in the shade 02 Warm. That's how I set the contour. You have to set everything, even if you don't want your face to be matte, you need to set it. I wasn't doing that, and ever since I have, it's really taken my makeup to a next plateau. Cheek time, gotta use a red highlighter. Red eyes, red highlighter, simple maths. I'm going to be using my Ride or Die blush that I probably shouldn't still have in the shade Spicy Pepper from H&M. I don't even know if they still sell it. That's how long I've had it. I'm gonna apply it in an upwards angle. I like to apply a bit more than I need and then I brush it away afterwards. I find by the time I go over with my extra foundation brush, the blender, the setting spray, it just looks really natural, so I like to put a lot first. That's almost finished. I actually put a little bit on my nose as well now, and then I blend over it with the foundation brush. Oh gosh, this is really upsetting the spot I have on my cheek. It's really annoying. I also like to put a bit of blush on my chin now and a little bit on my forehead. I don't know why, but I think it really helps. I am absolutely gutted because some parts that I recorded just did not save or didn't record, whatever the one is. But I'm almost finished, which is really annoying because I wanted you to really be with me from beginning to end. But unfortunately, that's just not the case for today. So to finish off, I'm just gonna go over everything with very light motions with my foundation brush. I'm going to do a different lip combo. This is like a dark brown slash plum color. It's I I don't know the name, but I'll put it down. Stocking by Jacyln Cosmetics. So a very different colour to what I'm used to. I'm just going to see how the colours merge. This is Cookies by Jacyln Cosmetics as well. It was in the new collection that I got sent for PR. Oh, it smells really nice. Like, really nice. I'm going to go over with more pencil. And then as a topper, I'm getting the Jacyln Rose Drip lip gloss. It's a very light pink one. And again, fix the liner. But yeah, this is the final look. I'm not sure about the lip combo, but I did want to do something different because I practically do the same lip combo in just different reincarnations each time, so I wanted to do something different. This is a purple sort of pink lip, which isn't too much with the red eyes, but I think a nice complementary tone. This is the finished look. Completely happy with it actually. Wasn't sure how it was gonna come out. I've never done red, but I'm happy I did try it. I liked the new products that I used, like the RCA RMA powder, and what else was new? The lip products were all new. I've never used those colour shadows before. And to some of you who haven't watched some of my recent Instagram videos but have seen my older YouTube videos, a lot of products would be different, even the methods, or like the brow freeze. Hopefully you enjoyed. Sorry about the wait again, and thank you for watching.